In their annual General Assembly held today, the Uganda Joint Christian Council UJCC expressed a profound concern at the new method of shifting focus from life planning skills education to comprehensive sexual education for in-school and out-of-school learners in order to reduce teenage pregnancies and HIV infections in young people.
The Assembly noted with concern the introduction of the so-called comprehensive sexuality education, which was introduced in some schools, including church-founded schools, without due consultation with the foundation bodies and an approved curriculum. The Assembly condemned the unilateral move of introducing the so-called comprehensive sexuality education, which has components that undermine the teachings and core values of the Church. The Assembly directed Uganda Joint Christian Council Secretariat to engage the government and all other stakeholders with a view of finding lasting solution to the matter for the good of our children and the youth.
The chairperson of the council, the Most Reverend Stanley Tagali, decried the violation of people's basic rights, especially members of the opposition.
The Assembly expressed concern about the inhuman treatment being meted out by security forces against opposition political leaders and their supporters. The Assembly urged the government to exercise restraint and to use dialogue as a means of resolving political disputes. The Assembly asked UJCC Secretariat to engage the government on this matter with a view of reducing the current tension in our country. On electoral reforms, the Assembly noted that elections constitute the building blocks of democratic governance, which is essential for peace and a sustainable development.
It is by constitution that the president appoints, and at the same time, then after that, the parliament approves, which is constitutional. But also we understand that before, when this constitution was approved, in Uganda we did not have multi-party political systems.
Also among the issues the council is grappling with is the recent introduction of Islamic banking in Uganda, which they demand on some clarification from government on some of its modalities as explained by the council.
The Assembly noted with concern the introduction of Islamic banking through the Financial Institutions Amendment Act 2016, which will have far-reaching implications for the whole country, especially the Christian community, considering that this was done without adequate consultation with the relevant stakeholders. We want to understand more about the implications because, as you know, the Constitution of Uganda says the government will not back any religious institution directly, but support all religious institutions, but not directly. And when this is included, then we see a kind of constitutional conflict. So it's on that note that we want the legal people and the leadership of this country to let us know more than simply saying it's okay, but we are doing that in a very good spirit.
Most Reverend Stanley Tagali also calls for the government to tighten laws on irresponsible consumption of alcohol, drug abuse and gambling, most especially among the youths.
The Assembly called upon the government to tighten the laws with a view to addressing the unregulated production and consumption of alcohol, as well as drug abuse and gambling, in order to safeguard the family, which is the basic unit of society, especially the youth, who are the main victims.
Drug abuse and gambling, those are harming our youth, and the consequences, as you are aware from what you people report to us, is indeed a disaster. So although somebody said there was a tobacco law, which I don't think many people know, people should know more about that law. And we are calling upon government to tighten its laws, just like in some other countries. Here in Uganda, we have no law. Somebody can wake up in the morning and take orange for breakfast.
UJCC is not the first to question comprehensive sexual education. Several players have been questioning it since its introduction in schools. Some say that it had a hidden agenda of promoting homosexuality among the youths. This report is compiled by Andrew Kagwa for WBS Prime News.